as opposed to an electric bike?
Oh, fuck. All right.
Are you strictly an electric guy? Fucking pussy.
Oh, man. Okay.
Are you?
Am I electric? Yeah, I'm strictly electric.
Even if you're going like on a flat, if you're not going uphill?
If I'm going on flat, it doesn't matter, dude. I'm electric. Oh, okay, no, I'm not. I'll preface this. If I'm in the neighborhood and I want to go, somewhere local, right? Like, so if I'm just going to watch, like, go to a sports bar or something like that, that's like 5, it would be like 20-minute walking.
Yeah.
I want to turn it into like 10 minutes on the bike. Mm-hmm. Yeah, then I'll take.
Wait, 20-minute walking leads to 10 minutes on the bike? I don't think that's slow bike riding, isn't it? You think bike riding is only half the time of walking?
Well, so if I'm going to be using a non-electric bike, then I'll be doing a slow, like, casual bike.
Oh, okay.
Right? So for example, I live really kind of like 15, 20 minutes walking from McCarran Park. Mm-hmm. And so if I were to if I were to go to McCarran Park, then I'm probably just going to take the regular city bike.
Yeah.
But if I'm coming here, then I have to go over the Williamsburg Bridge.
Yeah.
I have to go up that hill, then a steady flat, then a downhill.
Yeah.
Then, I want to take the electric.
Even if you have lots of time to spend, you're not in a rush. It's a mild day. It's not sunny. You're not going to sweat.
That's, I'm so used to just looking for the gray electric bikes. I think what it's done and what they've been very smart about this is that they have really made those electric bikes coveted. And, they make money when you use an electric bike.
Exactly. That's
free.
my thing. I do it because I'm cheap, not because I'm health conscious.
Yeah.
Even though it's only, not that much more.
Oh, so you do wait. So you do the electric bike because...
No, I do not do the electric bike.
Okay.
When I'm not in a hurry, I do the regular bike because it's a free ride.
Right, yeah.
And otherwise, it's, $1.25.
So usually when I'm riding the bikes anywhere, though, I'm like riding them either to like, somewhere far out in Brooklyn, or I'm riding it to like, if I want to ride it to the West Village or something like that. Right. If it's a further distance.
A hike.
Yeah, exactly. If it's a hike. But I think what it's done to me is it's made me believe that that the bikes are. It's made me believe that biking takes a lot less effort than what it really does because I'm using the electric bike so often.
Because you're not actually biking.
Yeah, I'm not.
You're not really. It's a different form of transportation.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not biking.
It's not.
But it's healthier than taking the subway, and I would argue that it's quicker. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Always quicker.
Dude, it's a totally different level. I mean, like I got it. I mean, I feel like I'm probably paying more money with the service plus like paying, $20-$30 a week if I'm going to be using it, on top of that. So yeah, I think it's like way more expensive.
You think it's more expensive than the subway?
I mean, if you get a subway, monthly cost will be like $30 and then multiply that by like 12 months for the year. If you're doing like a monthly subway, how much is a monthly subway?
Like $100. No, a subway is more expensive, you're saying.
No. The bike, I think, is
I don't think so, because any ride you take is on the electric. Do you go over $3? Because that's what a subway ride costs.
Yeah.
Because that's far. That's like, I don't know, a half hour maybe.
Like if I go from where I live to the West Village, then it's going to be costing me probably about $4.50.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, okay. On the electric bike.
All right.
But
I guess you live outside Manhattan.
It's half the cost. I don't know, half the time.
Yeah, okay.
Which is
so you
like,
pay for that. Yeah.
Dude, yeah, I'm really paying for the speed and efficiency.
Yeah. And when you want to leave.
Yeah.
But do you find yourself going as fast as you can because you know that the clock is ticking and it's charging you?
Well, I mean, it's kind of minimal at a certain point, right? It's like you can get there in 20 minutes or you can get there in 25 minutes.
Right.
And it's kind of like
That's kind of fun though.
Between 480 and
through traffic.
The other day, I rode a bike that I feel like was supercharged.
Yeah, they have supercharged ones. I think they do.
And it's just like, I was like, dude, I'm not even doing it. Like, this thing's like driving itself. Yeah. I'm like, holy shit.
They plant these little ones in
there. Yeah, the ones they just like give them. And then the bikes that are really close to me, the electric ones that are near, like the closest to me, suck. They like... They never...
Are they the blue ones, not the gray ones?
No,
because there's also blue ones that are electric, and I don't even fuck with those.
They're
very few and far between, but they've got a bigger
They used to
chassis.
Exist before the gray ones became produced in mass.
Probably,
There were blue, and they had the little...
battery on it.
Yeah, the battery. Yeah. And then if you... I one time I got one of those, and the battery was dead.
Yeah.
So it just like...
Oh, so you're just hauling this dead horse around.
It was just an additional weight of the battery on it. I was like, God damn it, dude.
Of what you're saying. I asked about that. If you're like racing the clock, because they used to have this thing in Vancouver called Go Car or something, Smart Car. I can't remember. Anyways, Zip Car. Yeah. No, it wasn't Zip Car. It had a different name. But anyways, it was Smart Cars, and you get a membership, and you find it, you log in, and then you get charged by the minute. But everybody would use them. You'd go as fast as you could because it was $3 a minute or something. So you have all these people who don't normally drive, driving as fast as they can in a tiny car that's the size of a motorbike, so nobody can see it in their blind spot. And most people are drunk because you use them as a DD because you don't want to drive your car downtown, and then you're like, it's 2 a.m. and you're like, fuck, I don't want to pay for a cab. If I get one of these smart cars and drive as fast as I can drunk home, then I'll save money, and I'm not going to hurt anybody because it's a smart car.
When was this?
This was, they discontinued it probably because of what I'm talking about. I don't know. It was like 10 years ago or something.
How the fuck was this legal?
I know.
This is insane.
They still have Evos, and it's a different thing, like a Zip Car in the city.
Yeah.
But I think it's a less of a thing because you don't pay by maybe you pay by the minute, and they're not small. Like there was something about the fact that you're in a fucking go-kart going as fast as you can, and you don't normally drive. Yeah, it was. A lot of people must have got hurt. I know I had a few little scrapes. I'll wake up in the morning and be like, did I take out a mirror
while you were driving?
Yeah, while you're driving.
Yeah. What would you like? What would that look like on the? Can you imagine? What was that TV show? Like Cops.
Cops, yeah.
Can you imagine, like, they pull you over and you're driving one of those mini cars?
Pulling over some hipster at 2 in the morning?
No, not even a hipster. It's just like I don't know, maybe it's like a celebrity. And they pull him over, and he's one of those tiny cars. Like, but it's like Hulk Hogan
getting out of it. I knew a guy who drove one from the Midwest somewhere, like Michigan or Minnesota, all the way to LA.
What?
In December. He was coming to, be an actor in LA, and he drove this with all his belongings in one of those smart cars. And he said it took him like 3 days. Because they only go, I don't know, like 60, 70 miles an hour or something.
People would drunkenly drive those things and would go like 50, like 60 miles an hour?
Yeah. They must have had what's the thing on it where you can't go too fast?
Like a little brake, like a stopgap.
Yeah. There's a word for it, like not a retarder, but something I can't remember. Yeah. But it must not have been too fast. And you were also in the city, so you couldn't pick up speed.
Right.
But yeah. But speaking of cops, did you see that video of that Miami Dolphin player they got?
No.
Pulled over? Tyreek. I can't remember. He's a receiver.
And he's back playing for the team again, right?
Is he?
Is that the one that they're talking? They're like.
They pulled him out of his Ferrari or whatever it is, and he was on the ground in a minute because he rolled up his window, so the cops pulled him out.
Oh.
Yeah.
I do remember there was, I think like a year ago, maybe it was 2 years ago, it was a rookie on a Tuesday night driving a convertible at like 150 miles an hour drunk, and then he hit a stationary car where it was like another 23-year-old girl and her dog, and just like the whole car, like her car went into flames.
Really?
Just like,
and she died?
Yeah.
And he's in jail?
Yeah, he's in jail. I don't know what happened.
This was an NFL rookie?
This is an NFL rookie, like back in 2000. I think it was like 2022. I forgot what his name is, but yeah, he was, obviously like taken out of the league and everything. I mean, she died, but like, I guess bad luck for him. Like, I mean, I'm sure there's been so many NFL player accidents where the other person didn't die and they got lucky.
Well, this one was, he was just speeding on his way to practice, middle of the day. Cops pull him over, a bunch of bicycle cops. And he's out of the car and on the ground within a minute because he doesn't comply completely. But he's not being an asshole. He's not saying I have a gun.
Right.
And I don't know. What's your stance on racially charged police violence? Are you for or against?
Yeah, I love when cops do what they gotta do. No, I mean that's fucking yeah. You're trying your hardest to not. Yeah, you were trying your hardest to say like, cause he's black.
Well, he's very black. And then the cops keep saying something like, oh yeah, we're minorities too, because I think they were Latino or something.
Middle Eastern or some shit. Yeah,
they weren't black, but I think they were Latinos, and they kept. One of the guys says, "Yeah, I'm a brown guy too." Like,
okay,
sure, buddy.
Yeah, no, I don't know, man. There's so much. I feel like in some ways we've kind of like gone forward as a society where that kind of stuff is now kind of a joke these days. If a cop like pulls over a black person, and I mean, I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I want to tread on this hill that I have no idea anything about. So I think I'll just.
Like you open it up. Well, have you ever been the victim of police racially profiling you?
Yeah, I think I have. I mean, I can't. I mean, clearly I'm an Indian guy who doesn't really pass for Indian, you know. So, but I did in college. You
never passed for Indian?
No, I mean,
never guess you're Indian?
I have.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think, well, like going back to the cop story, I was like pulled over in college. I was doing a little, you know, drink.
Yeah.
And,
what is that?
A little drink driving. Yeah. You said
it's Georgia, right? You can do it.
No, but see, it used to be the case in Georgia, but now it's not. But anyway, so this is in college, and you know, I looked at the police report, and the police put my race down as black.
Really?
And I was like, that's kind of odd.
Respect. Were you flattered?
No, I was a little bit. I was thinking in terms of my defense, because I was like, okay, if he thought I was black, that means he wasn't in his right mind. So there must be some kind of argument here. And I actually told somebody about this. And this person, she was, I think, just recently graduated from like the Harvard Kennedy School of Public, like public studies or whatever. Super social justice warrior, like hardcore. And she was like, actually, I would probably want to question yourself. Why do you feel like, do you feel like black people should be, getting DUIs instead of you? It was some weird.
Wow, she flipped it on you.
She really flipped it on me, and she made me think about it. And, I have been thinking about it, but now that I say it out loud, I feel like, no, like, not at all. I don't think that way. I really feel like it was the cop who may not have seen me properly, and it's his, like, I mean,
you're questioning his eyesight, not his morals. Or
Exactly. I'm not like, oh yeah, he thought I was black, so then, that means he wanted to arrest me. No, my thing was like, look, I've gotten caught jumping over the turnstiles before.
Yeah.
And the cop didn't put if it was AM or PM. It was 7 p.m. when I jumped over the turnstiles. The cop stopped me, wrote me up, and then I went to Brooklyn to hand the, to pay the bill, to pay the fine, the citation. And they said, we can't enforce this citation because it wasn't marked whether this happened AM or PM. So that was the fault of the cop to look at the details. I didn't have to pay it.
This is the same kind of thing. Well, what happened with the DUI? Did you go to jail? Did you pay a fine?
I had to. No, I went to jail.
What?
I did. I went to jail in Athens. Yeah, I went to the tank.
Right.
Yeah.
How drunk were you?
I wasn't drunk at all, dude. And this is
What do you mean you were drunk at all? You said you were doing a little drunk. You're admitted now. The statute of limitations.
Yeah.
Okay. You weren't. So you weren't?
I was. Look, I was at that stage where you're like kind of it's filtering out of your system.
Okay, so you'd had 3 or 4 drinks earlier in the night.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And so then I was driving home, and actually I got into my neighborhood. Like I literally was inside the neighborhood, about to take another right, when the guy got me, literally blew into the thing, and I think I blew like the legal limit. I think I blew .08.
Oh, but he smelled it or something.
He did the nystagmus test. Like basically that's the test where they have a finger in front of your eyes and then they go back and forth. And if your eye like twitches when it hits like the outside.
The nystagmus test?
Yeah, nystagmus
test. And is
test.
nystagmus a guy that invented that?
I don't know.
Or does that have something
Jamie,
like
Jamie, want to pull it up? maybe a stigma. I don't know. Nystagmus test. I don't know.
Sounds Greek.
But yeah, maybe a Greek dude did it. But yeah, basically it's like where your eye twitches when it gets to like all the way to the edge of the eye.
And if it doesn't twitch, that means you're drunk? Or if it does twitch?
If it does twitch, it means you're probably a little inebriated.
Oh, I feel a little twitchy when I go all the way over. All right.
But it's like, it's a very like clear, obvious twitch.
Okay.
You know? Okay. But so, yeah, I mean.
So what happened?
No, I mean, he took me in then, and I think I was, 20, I think I just turned 21.
Oh.
And they found a fake ID in my
But you're 21.
wallet. Yeah, but you know,
you hadn't retired yet.
Yeah, exactly. And so then he found it, and then the cops were like, you know, you're very lucky that this man is very lenient. This cop is very lenient. Otherwise, this would be a felony. You know, finding a. But I mean, you know, it was Athens, Georgia. How many fucking fake IDs are floating around? All these. Are you gonna consider all these students that are having fake IDs? Are they all felons? Right. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, theoretically, you could do that, but then you probably wouldn't have a lot of people coming to Athens, Georgia to go to school.
No shit. What's the school in Athens?
University of Georgia.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So they put you in the tank, and then you have to go to court. Does it fall?
Yeah.
Is it dismissed?
No, it goes to court. I get this lawyer.
What do your parents think? Are they very disappointed?
Of course.
But you also weren't drunk. Did you defend yourself and be like, hey, I wasn't drunk?
I mean, if you even look, it's crazy because like we got the tape of the cop
from his whatever camera.
So because you know my lawyer would request that we get a tape so we can go over the tape to see if there was any kind of like bullshit going around with the cop. And so we look at it, and you actually see the cop asking me, and this is where my dumbass, really came to life here, where the cop asks, "Have you been drinking a lot?" And I go, "Yeah."
What the fuck?
Because the thing is I'm going through this whole I'm very compliant. I'm doing everything he wants me to do.
So I'm extremely,
and I'm thinking to myself, in school they said that if you get if you tell the truth, the teacher's not going to be as mad as you because you told the truth, dude. Holy. Naive 21. Then looking Google later on, being like, dude, if a cop pulls you over, deny. Exactly.
Yeah,
and I would have probably had I denied, I probably would have gotten something, but it wouldn't have been as bad as it was. But I mean, now that I think about it, it's just like I had a shitty lawyer. It was a shitty cop, probably on a shitty day in a shitty part of Georgia. If I had done it like 2 counties over, it probably wouldn't have been a lot better. No.
So what? Okay, so it goes to court. You got a shitty lawyer, and you plead.
We end up pleading I think guilty. So I got a DUI.
Oh. And they take away your license.
Yeah, they put me on probation for 6 months.
6 months, no license for how long?
No license. Yeah, I think it was no license for about 6 months.
Okay.
And then I had to have somebody drive me. So I had a friend of mine who would drive me everywhere.
Is it still on your record or has it been expunged?
It's been 10 years now. So I feel like it's gone. Yeah. But no, it's dude, it sucks because what it really does is it screws over, it's just a time suck. I mean,
yeah.
People say yo, you don't want to go to prison and shit. Yeah, of course you don't want to do that. And being in a jail cell sucks ass. But I think if you're, trying to live your life, it just kind of creates an entire, and I'm not surprised why so many people go in and out of prison so much because, it kind of just traps you in this loop of for example, when I was in the drunk tank, one guy was talking about how, he was in it because of, he wasn't paying his child custody. Like,
so he was in the drunk tank.
But yeah,
they put everybody in the same.
Yeah, they just put everybody in the thing, and the guy was like one of the nicest people. He was like and actually, it's funny because for the first, I guess because I was there for like 12 hours, they had to actually put me in a cell. So they put me in a cell. It was a cell of 4 people, so I was behind bars literally, and I was just kind of in the bed, and like I'm a 21-year-old just kind of like on top. And I'm also. So
you were the top?
Yeah, I was.
And who was the bottom? It was the guy?
It was the guy.
So you topped for him, and he was your bottom.
Yeah. Turn a power
12 hours, huh?
No, okay. Yeah, no, that's how I became a power bottom. 12 hours. And I remember I was very shaken, and he.
But this guy was your cellmate, the child custody guy?
Yeah, and he sensed that. Well, we went from the tank into the cell together.
Okay.
And he sensed that I was like because when they shut the gates on you, when they shut the prison cells on you, the bars, it's very claustrophobic. Like you can't get out. Yeah. It's super psychologically just it fucks you up.
Yeah.
So. And he was like, hey, it'll be okay. Like, it'll be all right, while he was, and,
Foreplay.
Huh?
Foreplay?
Exactly. But, one book that I did find that was a book that I read in there was.
They gave you a book?
Well, like, yeah, you have.
It was 12 hours.
Yeah, but like it was. In the morning, you just kind of have like whatever,
library
like
time
whatever.
For 12 hours.
No. It's at night, and then they wake you up at like 5 a.m.
And they say you want a book.
Yeah, and then they have like little books like all around, and so I got the Chris Rock book.
What?
That book from how do I explain it? So I get that you're still confused about library hour.
But I'm just saying you've been in jail for, I've been to the drunk tank and I wasn't offered anything.
Yeah, but then you didn't go you weren't there like overnight.
I was there overnight, but I didn't get my own cell.
You didn't get a
Gen
cell.
Pop.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah. No, yeah, that was, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was brutal.
Sounds formative.
There's a time and a season for everything.
Is that a Mama and Papa's lyric?
I don't know, but the crazy thing is like, fast forward a year later, and I fucking come out to New York City.
And you were gangbanging.
Yeah, that's true. I've been to Rikers a couple of times. That's what I enjoy.
Slippery slope, baby.
It is
slippery slope.
I'm telling you, man. Time and a season.
I didn't know that about you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. I've been in the drunk tank a couple times, mostly for pissing in public and running away.
In Canada?
In Canada, yeah.
How is that?
Canadian jail's fine. Yeah. It's nice.
I feel like you get back massages.
You get back massages. You get to pick if you want to be the top or the bottom. There's library time. They bring you a toothbrush. There's floss.
Nice.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Have you seen Have you seen Atlanta, the TV show?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I gave up on the last season, but I've seen a lot of it.
So in the last season, there's an episode where they are in like Finland, I think.
Okay.
And he goes to prison in Finland. And it's like the Paperboy character.
Yeah.
And they basically treat him like a king there. They're just like serving him like a really nice meal. He's just like treating him really well.
Nice.
Yeah. But prison is not ideal.
No, it's not fun. And yeah, coming out in the morning once you've been like sleeping or not sleeping. And that's the other thing. They don't turn the lights off overnight. It's in that super bright room.
Well, that's a drunk tank, I guess.
The drunk tank, yeah. But there's other people in there. They're not all drunks.
Yeah.
I can't really remember. I think I've erased it from my memory. But the thing, when I got my ticket, it said defecating or urinating in public. And
dude,
I think we hung it on the wall and circled defecating in public.
I saw my first New York shit the other day. Like the dude was just straight up, just like bowels going.
You could see it exiting.
Oh, dude, it was a splash of shit.
God, I've never seen that. I've seen it once.
I was like, bro, what the fuck?
In Mexico, outside Puerto Vallarta, in Puerto Vallarta. That's the only time I've seen it.
I feel like that's a rite of passage of life in general.
To see it happening.
Just to see someone taking a shit.
The best is when it's in like all the city's going on about them and nobody notices and they don't notice. And it's just like, this is a natural thing to do.
Yeah.
Why not, you know? Yeah.
Human species.
That is gross. I saw I was on my roof of my building today and there's a rat there that's been rotting. Ugh. And there's big fat maggots dispersed like in a, 5 feet circle around it. I don't know.
Really?
Just like crawled out, I guess. It's so gross.
So you think like something laid eggs inside of it.
And then they're crawling out and then, I don't know. It's disgusting.
Like,
I went up there to eat a tuna sandwich and I saw that before. Yeah, that's gross.
Oh my God. That's, what does that remind me of? That's like, parasitic animals, like, probably the rat was dying and then a bug came inside and was like, oh shit, this is like, so I saw something.
You think the rat died from natural causes? Because it was out in the open.
Maybe it was like injured or like heat stroke or something like that.
Or a bird, but would a bird leave it or would a bird take it? Like one of those hawks, falcons?
I almost feel like they also would probably look at that and be like,
not
probably
good.
A lot of diseases coming from that thing. Right. Yeah, exactly. And
right.
So, like a bug probably went inside and was like, it was like Taco Bell all over, like, and then just fucking laid eggs.
Like a brainworm.
Had sex inside.
Like an RFK brainworm or something.
RFK?
RFK had a brainworm.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Jesus. So you watched the debate tonight, speaking of
debate. Yeah, last time,
I felt like we watched the last
we watched the Biden,
together.
we watched the Biden-Trump debate.
Yeah.
And that was the one where Biden was like, just not.
That was where the tables turned.
Yeah, and then this time, I'll be curious to see, I don't know, how are they doing it this time? Do you know?
No audience. They'll shut your mic off if you stray. CNN's doing it, so I think he's complaining that it's going to be liberal bias.
Yeah.
Did the last one didn't have an audience either, did it?
I think they did that rule where they turn your mic off.
But did it have an audience or no?
I can't remember.
I think you got to have an audience at least.
Why don't they have an audience?
You should have. It should be like a trial. It should be like each person picks, the people they want in the audience. The other person could be like, no, they stormed the Capitol, or no, they're a libtard. I don't want them. And then they agree on 100 each, and then they get like whistles and stuff. Because the whole thing is like, you want to see how they land, and you can't tell unless there's an audience, like how it landed in the room.
And it's also
it's spectacle.
I also think it's a missed opportunity for CNN to not have an audience, because I remember when in 2016 it was like Hillary versus Trump, right? Mm-hmm. And there was a guy named Ken Bone. You remember that guy?
Yes. What was he, a fucking electrician or something?
He was like, he
was like Mr. America.
I was an American.
Right. Yeah.
It was like, I feel like there's so many memeable moments that like CNN could be like, oh yeah, we're gonna just drive social when we like fucking get people to come. We're just gonna cast people.
You're right. Yes.
Like,
and then they can have these minor celebrities on their network for a week.
Yeah.
They can have their 15 minutes.
They can just mint these like tiny little influencers. And somebody will pop and get like 150,000 Instagrams.
Ken Bone, Jenny Apple, Arkansas. Yeah. Huh.
I don't know, but that's weird. It is also kind of strange that because like I guess maybe it's I don't know, maybe it's a network thing. These things are just fucking, I'm just like, CNN putting on a debate. It's just like, all right, this is like what sport, like US Open's over. So like let's use another sport.
Exactly. And great timing. It's a Tuesday. Nothing else is happening. There's no football. Basketball hasn't started. Hockey hasn't started. US Open just finished.
Yeah.
Like, we need events to fill our empty little lives.
Yeah.
And this is one of them. So you're going to watch. I'm going to watch.
Yeah, I think it'll be a shit show. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. Kamala Harris, I mean, I guess for her it's good, so like America can kind of figure out
who she is. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because nobody really knows who she is. And I think she debates well. She can bust ass. We'll see.
You would not be eligible to run for president, would you?
I don't think so, because I wasn't born here, but my parents are American, so I don't know. You think I should run?
Yeah.
I don't know if I have the name recognition.
The Carlo.
Yeah, and my name's too close to
Carlo Marx.
Yeah,
He's actually a Republican. Yeah. You're voting on Karl Marx. You'd have to change your name. That's interesting. Like if you, like as an actor, you think about that. Like you think like, oh yeah, like I need to change my name because I'm not getting opportunities. But if your name's Karl Marx, you get the opportunity to be president. I mean, okay, like. I don't know. Barack Obama's was like Hussein.
Not a good name. Not a great name. Hussein. I guess Barack Obama's a nice name. I think Obama's going to run into it. But Barack is not a good president name. That's too foreign. And Hussein you couldn't get worse than that at the time. Why is the U.S. Open such a social event? It seems like there's so many celebrities there, more than any other sporting event. And they show them, and then I see people around town wearing U.S. Open swag, and it's like a place to see and be seen. Why is it that more? Like it feels like more than a Knicks game or a Giants game or something. What is it about that?
I think
event.
Tennis is historically a very posh sport.
Okay.
You know, like, and I actually like that. I like that we have the U.S. Open, and I wish I took more advantage of just going to the Open just for like shits and giggles. Like we went for Friday, and I dressed up. Like I wore a nice shirt, like kind of combed my hair back, had my sunglasses. I mean, especially going to the finals, you go and I saw a lot of like I think I saw like maybe 2 or 3 celebrities. Just like I saw one celebrity. You know, Bowen Yang from SNL?
Yeah.
He was just there, like, waiting for his friend to get out of the bathroom. Like, just standing there. And I, like, noticed him. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. But, yeah, there were so many fucking celebrities. But it's, like, I don't know, like, going to the finals felt like a chance to, you know, dress up. And, you know, it's got this, the Open has this kind of vibe that's like, look, there's only 4 in the world. You know, French Open and Wimbledon, both of them are very kind of tough, like very posh kind of.
Right.
And so US Open, I think, is trying to bring that in as well. And plus, they've actually tried to start marketing it a lot better this year. Like they have this whole, so the whole, like the entire event of the US Open itself takes place over 3 weeks. The tournament is 2 weeks long. But the week before, they have qualifiers. Right. They have all this Arthur Ashe Kids Day. So they have all this kind of stuff. So now they called it Fan Week. So that's free. It's actually a free thing you can go to. And so I went to practice rounds at the start of the tournament. And then at the end of the tournament but I didn't, you know, pay to go inside or anything like that. But it's I don't know. It really is historically, tennis is a very kind of bougie, you know, country club type sport, you know. So you have, you know, I feel like that's why it brings in that kind of crowd.
Right. But and then the Australia Open is like the shit show. It's like that. What is that golf event? The Phoenix Waste Management.
Yeah, the Waste Management. I don't know. The Australian Open is, you know, it's the only one like. I feel like it's the only one that's like, you know. On the other side of the world, basically.
Very observant of you.
Fucking like Australia. Like who the fuck decided to put the 4th slam, like the first slam of the year in Australia?
Where would you put it?
I don't know.
But that's where all the people, I guess it could be that's where all a colony, right? I guess it could be in India, right? Or do they play in India? It's all cricket.
I don't know. Tennis probably has to be where white people are. So I guess it's got to be.
Exactly. Where do you have white people that's, you know.
Gay ass sport like tennis.
Yeah. And colonial.
Bullshit fucking pussy ass sport.
Yeah. So you need it.
Tennis I love tennis though. Fuck man. Fucking kind of groomed to love tennis a little bit. Yeah. But yeah.
Have you been playing?
Oh man, not lately. I haven't really been playing lately. I think the last time I played was like 8-9 months ago.
Oh really? We should play. You kick my ass.
That'd be fun. We can do it.
I don't need. Do you have an extra racket?
I got one, but like you can like. Yeah, I mean I know some other people. We can like pick up another one.
Let's do it. I also
some doubles or something.
Shivani just got pickleball rackets if you want to play that too.
Oh, I would fuck with pickleball. So it's funny, like pickleball has a whole rivalry with tennis.
Yeah, I've heard a bit about that.
And like, have you seen those YouTube videos where it's like basically these pickleball players came and they started playing pickleball on these tennis players' courts, and the players got mad.
Yeah.
And so there's this whole just like rivalry just started picking up between the pickleball players and the tennis players. And it's just, I personally hated pickleball for a long time. And then I actually played it a couple times and I was like, yeah, it's
fun.
Yeah, it's fun. It is. You
can age into it better too, can't you? Or no?
Well, it's definitely easier on the knees in tennis.
And the shoulders, you're not like hitting it as hard, or is that not true?
Yeah, like you're definitely not hitting it as hard. Like it's definitely not nearly as athletic of a sport. But the issue is that a lot of younger people, when they play pickleball, they feel like they want to play it like it's tennis, you know? So they'll really move around a lot. But the problem with doing that is that pickleball is so small that if you like pivot really quickly, like it could, like my cousin, he tore his Achilles heel playing pickleball. Yeah.
Oh,
and this guy is like, his whole life has been super athletic, played like varsity tennis, varsity soccer, like just an athletic guy growing up. And then
pickleball took him down.
Yeah.
Jesus. Oh my God.
It's wild.
That's rough. Yeah, they just put a new court in the town where I'm from in Canada, and it's 4 pickleball courts, 1 tennis. And then they look permanent, the pickleball ones. Maybe you can take them down. So yeah, I'd be pissed off.
No, it is what they say, like it's the fastest growing sport.
Yeah, I bet.
In the United States.
It's been around a long time. My dad said he used to play it in the 70s in Sacramento. But it's kind of like paddleboarding when that came out. Like surfers hated paddleboarders. And I can understand why.
Yeah.
How you been? Last time we talked, you said you were going to be, you're cleaning your life up.
Yeah. I have been. I've been working on the life cleanup. Yeah. It's very difficult. It's
tell me about it.
You know, I started taking in order to avoid having to go out, like, which is like, nobody's putting a gun to my head. You have to go out. But in order to like kind of prevent myself, I started taking a Hindi class. And so
cool.
I take it on Saturdays at 9:30 p.m.
Wow. Yeah. Online or in person?
Online.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy in India, he's a really good teacher. Shout out to Posh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
On Preply. Yeah.
Wow.
It's a great.
That's awesome.
No, yeah, it's good. I've been doing it for the last 4 weeks, and it's good. Like to just the first couple weeks, first week, I was like day drinking, so I could be like, yeah, I'm a day drink, and then, dude, I literally, I like fell asleep at like what, 8? No, it was like 8:30. Like I got home. I must have gotten home at like 6 p.m. There was like a Guinness pop-up event near me. And I was like, I had these free Guinness drink cards. So I was like drinking beers, and I came home at like 6:30, and I put an alarm for 8:30, and the class is at 9:30, and I ended up waking up at like 10 p.m. and the class would go till like 10:20 or 10:30.
Right.
And I got up and I was like, oh fuck. And I like went to the class. And yeah, I mean, he taught me for like half an hour, and then it was like over. But since then, I've actually, you know, been like more like, all right, like I'll do a yoga class, and then I'll like hang around, chill or whatever. And then after that, I'll, you know, take the Hindi class. And so, you know, I've started, you know, learning a little bit of Hindi. So it's
full Indian Saturday.
Yeah.
Yoga to Hindi.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Yoga to Hindi. That's so true. Yeah.
Did you grow up speaking, or did your parents speak any Hindi, or you're Gujarati though,
yeah,
right? So
Gujarati,
they speak Gujarati?
Yeah, they speak Gujarati, but like
why Gujarati? Why Hindi and not Gujarati?
Well, I don't know. I feel like part of me feels like maybe Hindi could be something good for my career in the future. Like I don't know. But
more people probably speak Hindi than Gujarati, right?
Yeah. Hindi is also like, yeah, it's like the main language in India, and like if you're trying to if you want to book a role in India or something like that. But also I do feel like there's something to be said about just like learning a language in general.
Yeah.
Just makes you more, you know, definitely, I don't know, it opens you up a little bit to different cultures and different kind of ways of thinking. So
Did your parents speak Gujarati when you were growing up?
Yeah, I mean,
or still do to you?
Yeah, you know, it's kind of one of those things where like, I mean, I don't know, maybe Shivani's parents probably do the same thing where like, did she like grow up.
When I ask her about it, she's like, "No, I don't speak it. I understand a little bit of it."
Yeah,
but then
I'm the
we
same
go
way,
visit the parents. They're speaking like 90% in Gujarati, a little bit of English in there, and she's like, "Yeah."
But she doesn't say it herself.
And she doesn't say anything back.
Yes, and my parents are the same way.
So you understand everything, but you can't speak it.
You can understand everything.
I don't understand that. How come you can't? I don't know.
I think it's something I feel like. At least for, I mean, there are some kids that I think it kind of maybe has to do with a little bit about how tied you are to India, the country. So my theory is that like, if you're either, if you're like you're very reliant on your family in India and you like constantly are talking to them all the time, then chances are I feel like the kids are also going to be like just picking that up, or you're just very Indian. So you came to this country, when both the husband and wife were like in their 30s, you know? And so then the kids are obviously going to be more Indian, but like my parents, they got married, they're in their 20s, had me and my sister in their early 30s. And I feel like, but they weren't really like, I feel like they were more independent here in this country. Because, like, I feel like they were doing well. Like they didn't have to take money from, the old country, but, and I feel like that kind of may have been maybe a little bit why I'm not as, identify as like, I mean, I identify ethnically Indian, but not as like, culturally. Culturally.
Yeah,
exactly.
right.
Yeah,
So
more
it wasn't that need to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. Yeah. No, it's just interesting to hear them speak, and then she understands every single word.
But she doesn't speak it,
And she doesn't speak it. And they go, obviously people can speak 2 languages. It's so cool to go in and out of it. Like it's interesting to listen to.
I mean, if I try to speak it, it'll be very broken, and I'm not very confident. There's some phrases I can say.
Right.
But
you can fully, if somebody comes in like completely doesn't speak English, you can definitely understand what they say.
Understand it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny when you think about it, like, who does that benefit? Like, it's just like,
I mean, if you went to Gujarat, it would be very helpful. And if you pretended you didn't know who to.
Like I'm just thinking about.
People are talking about you or.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Kind of
all right, yeah. I just think of like a Gujarati person that comes to America and is like asking for directions, and everybody can understand him, but like nobody can communicate. You're just like, great.
Point.
Damn it.
So what else? What else have you been good?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, I've been kind of doing the day job grind.
Yeah.
Looking at the acting stuff a little bit, this is terrible. I fucking just didn't submit to a commercial audition at all. Like, it was just like, they sent me the audition. It would have taken me out like September 18th to the 28th or something like that. Yeah. It was like $500 a day or something.
Yeah.
I just didn't submit. I was just like, I'm not going to book this. Yeah. Like, fuck it, dude. Like, fuck off. I don't want to do this, I mean, if it was like a TV show or something, I'd be like, oh shit, yeah, I definitely got to do this. But this is like a commercial, and I was like, fuck it.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah. Are you losing the faith?
I had a little bit of a moment, I think, maybe last week, where I was just like, is this really worth it? Like I was having the little doubt skis, but I don't know, like it's one of those things where it's just kind of crept in a little bit. Definitely from like the overall drought, and plus I've been kind of just like working on trying to figure out how to audition, and I've just been finding it kind of a challenge lately, and also I've just kind of really considered like looking at how like things actually operate. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that was a very vague thing that I said, but no. I went to a bookstore, and it's like you kind of forget that. Like I think I had this like crazy weird realization where I was like, I was thinking about like I was in this really niche wooden bookstore in Soho, like one of those tiny like little cupboard things that you can go inside on the street. Okay. It was like connected to a Think coffee, And I went inside and I was like, oh yeah, I wonder if they have like plays and, you know, whatever stuff. And I had a moment, I was like, why the fuck do I give a shit about like looking for a play? You know, like I don't give a fuck like looking for theater stuff. And I just had this realization that I was like, this whole time I've been in New York, everything that comes about with acting comes through a filter of like theater, reading a play, doing, reading Shakespeare, doing shit like that. And I was like reading a book of poetry. And I was like, this is way more the vibe here. You know, I'm like reading these very like esoteric books, like, or like a graphic novel, or like, you know, it was just like the best movies and TV shows and concepts come from life. And like everybody tells you that, but it was a very like, I feel like it was a moment that I had.
I like that. That's a good, so anything, if you're trying to make art from art or be inspired by other art, it's going to be derivative, and anything new, or not new, but whatever, new to now is going to come from your life and have a personal connection.
That's why New York theater for me is ass, dude. Like I find it, not all theater, but like, I just find a lot of, it's just a very redundant kind of form.
Because it is being inspired by different forms of art, or being just inspired by other theater, or yeah.
Like what you just said, that like theater that's inspired by other theater.
Is just gonna be copying other theater, and yeah. I mean, it's the same problem with movies culture, right? It's just gonna be the same property, but you see the same thing in theater. It's just like that's copying that, and that's kind of a derivative of that.
Yeah, and it's just it's I don't know. I feel like,
but the stuff that really pops is not that, right?
I mean, look, it can pop. I think it's dependent upon who is producing. Like sure, maybe you can have a Shakespeare that absolutely blows the roof off the place, but I think it's dependent on the person themselves who's producing it, right? Yeah. Like, and I just felt like I had a moment where I felt like I had just closed my acting box. Felt like it had been closed off for so long, because when you take acting classes, when you do acting, when you do theater, when you do plays, and like even the people that you meet, the community that you meet, it's all just so, it's so not self-referential. That's not the word, but there's no, I don't know. I'm not really sure what I'm trying to say, but I feel like it's all like, even like to get into an MFA program, I would make sure you have a classical monologue and make sure you have a contemporary monologue. You know, it's just like these systems, they just feel so stifling, and it's just like, we're in a bookshop right now. Like there's probably a biography about like a Chinese bookie, from 1965. That's like fucking insane, dude. Like that's way fucking more appealing and like more just, I got a book, like let's see, this was like Saturday night, and I was like, Saturday, or Sunday, sorry, at the Open. After the Open, I came back and, I was, we went to a couple bars after that, but I walked by another bookshop. I started reading a book, like outside, and just kind of flipping through it. And it was about like 9 men in different parts of Europe, in different parts of life. So one has just graduated high school, and then another is like old and has retired, but it's like that arc of 9 men in Europe really trying to figure out what the fuck they're doing in the 21st century in 2016, and I bought the book. Like I was like, here, like it was like $5, but I was like, just gonna buy this. Like it's just, I don't know. Like it's just like, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like so much of there's so much interesting stuff that I'm not saying anything new, but I think I'm just having a realization for myself. Yeah.
So your issue is that just the same old shit, same old Arthur Miller or David Mamet is being recycled, and you're not seeing anything new. I
mean, I will say, like I feel like there's something about the theater culture that doesn't allow for new stuff to like be.
Because it's because they want to make money.
Yeah, exactly. And like, so like Jeremy O'Harris, you know, he did Slave Play. He produced this play called, I think, what was it called? I went to this play probably like back in June.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was just produced by him and his team, but it was pretty innovative. And she's like this Argentinian girl who is basically writing about her life, being Argentinian and wanting to be famous and coming to America and going to Yale, right? And it was like about that, and it was like pretty good. But those kind of things are very like underground, and you know, not many people know about it unless like you're one of the cool kids, you know, that's like, oh yeah, this is the thing. But like the barrier to entry is such a bitch, you know. Right. Like it's I feel like just theater in general, the barrier to entry sucks. So all you're getting is like Mammoth, and like that's. I don't know. Right. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But even like theater itself as just a form, like I feel like I came to New York thinking, or not came here, but like I started acting here. But realizing that there's so much more to just doing like theater plays and like short films and TV scripts and stuff like that. There's like other pockets of like, you know, interesting stuff that I haven't really explored very much.
What do you mean? Other art forms or like other performance art?
Yeah, like maybe, I don't know, like trying to think of like just for me to consume.
Right.
I think I'm having a thing of like, okay, I've been consuming a lot of kind of generic, like, this is what actors read, you know, this is the Stella Adler, read this book, read that book, you know, read these plays, read a play a week, you know, it's like, read a play a week, you're gonna want to kill yourself, you know, like it's fucking like, you know.
You might be onto something there, because if everybody's doing that prescribed thing, this is the way to success, then you're gonna be the same thing. But I'm feeling down on it too, because there's no path, and you know, I took an acting class a couple months ago, and this guy's like 90 years old, almost. You know, he's maybe a great teacher, great actor, but he's not. Nobody knows who he is. He's not in film or TV.
And he's not famous.
But I guess it's why you can't do it to be famous.
But he's 90, and he's paid his bills.
Yeah, being a teacher, and so you can find your way in it. But
R.I.P. James Earl Jones.
Yeah, that's right.
I got another 90-year-old.
Yeah. I mean, I think that basically you just have to remove any expectation and for anything. And what you're saying is I think pretty accurate, that if it's you're getting inspired by your own life and what's going on now, then that's going to be more unique than trying to regurgitate something else. And just by if it is true, then it will end up being like something else. Like there's a reason why Shakespeare's still around, because it's tapping into archetypes that we're living today, and it's tapping into experiences that we're living today. There's only so many human experiences you can have. They're just different colors or different people or different places or different geography, but we go through the same things. It's all life, you know, sex, death. Birth, sex, death. That's it. You know, war. That's all that happens.
I think what I've noticed is, I think just for myself, like for the last since I've been acting, since like 2017 auditioning, everything's just been like, okay, here's a prescription for you to book this role. If you think the thoughts of the character and you blah 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 blah, then you will blah 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 blah. And like, I've lately been very much like, all right, like I could go to an acting class, or I could go to this, maybe learn gambling, you know, like, I don't know. Like, or like even learning Hindi, like I think would probably open up more
Absolutely.
doors.
That would help you hugely. If you speak Hindi and some guy doesn't, then that'll get you the job. I mean, I still think you need basic understanding of what the scene is and what they need for the scene. And then okay, once you have that, there's going to be 40 other guys that also understand what the scene is and what they need. And then that extra thing, because this guy speaks Hindi or he's lost a finger or I know him, I met him once, I like him, then that'll push you above. But, you need that understanding to begin with.
Base of the fundamentals.
Yeah, and that's not nothing. That's hard.
It's hard to get to
understand.
The issue with acting culture, the issue with theater culture, the issue with all the culture stuff is like you're never done being a student in anything in life. But it's like the amount of just like, I mean, I know people that have spent like 15 years post grad in New York City just taking acting classes.
Yeah.
And just the same regurgitated like maybe you learn a cool technique, like you could do dream work, right? That's super cool. Or you could do a scene study class or improv or something like that. But it's just like, all right, like
doesn't mean anything to anybody else outside that circle.
There's a point where you get to where it's like you've done it, you've taken all those shits, like come on.
It means something to like 5 people, and that's it. And you have to be okay with that, or you have to realize my life has become so fucking small, learning kabuki and Soho. And I want to expand it, and then you do, or you're just happy being, maybe it's like a spiritual practice. You don't, you just do it for yourself or that your 5-person cohort. But yeah, it's amazing that you can there's these little cultures and pockets, and you can have pretense around it because it's such fucking bullshit. And who gives a shit? That's the thing that I'm struggling with in my own pretense and my own self-importance. And like, it's just we're so pathetic, and it means nothing to anybody, and so who gives a shit?
Like for me, it was a whole thing of like, I want to be. I think it's at 18, I had some notion in my head that I was like, okay, I want to be famous. I want to be like Brad Pitt. I want that, like
I see that for you,
and it's still like thank you.
I can see the similarities.
He is my uncle, at the end of the day. But no, but I think I think that is still inside, but it's also like you're kind of now, I feel like I'm at a point where I'm conversing with it.
Right.
It's like I'm negotiating with it a little bit where it's like it's not leaving, but it's negotiating with it.
And you have to come to terms, I think, that it's a mental illness that's with you. Truly.
Addiction.
Or an addiction or whatever. You're dealing with something that you didn't have enough of, or you don't have this validation inside you. And that's where I'm getting to, is like at this middle-aged life, like what do you expect? This isn't going to heal you.
Yeah.
And there is some expectation that it'll heal you or make you feel better than other people. And if you don't have the chance to be successful and realize that it won't heal you, then you live in this, you still have the expectation, like, you know what, if only I became Brad Pitt, then I would have been healed. And you realize, I'm sure if you don't do any digging, you know how fucked up that guy is. And he didn't get healed.
It's a weird. I mean, I heard about his story and his issues with addiction, but I think, it's healing is a really good thing to think about. Like, we all want to be something we're not, and I guess maybe we're all just like running.
Yeah. Maybe we'll be something or not, or feel something we don't feel, I think, is even to make it.
Something we didn't get.
To boil it down. Yeah, to feel different or to, I think that's what it all.
I mean,
I don't want to feel this way anymore.
Yeah.
I want things to be easier.
I mean, I feel like, okay, for you, for example, I'm curious. Like, so for me, I think I can probably trace back the acting to wanting to be white, I can trace that back that way. And I feel like, now that I know myself a little bit more, I think, I was like, okay, if you're famous, it takes care of, your race and what you are, and you're fine. Now what kind of, I have 2-part question for you. So like, what was the ism for you? And also what goes through your head now at this point in your career when you're like, doing auditions and, you're just kind of, I think you touched on it before, but now if I were to ask you just in a,
I think, well, first of all, that's interesting that you're wanting to be white, and it makes tons of sense because you're growing up in the 90s where everybody's white on TV, and you're like, oh, look, there's white happy people.
And you're in the South.
And you're in the so exactly. Everybody's white around you,
all the cool kids are, white.
All the quarterbacks are white. Yeah.
Exactly.
And it looks easy and happy. Yeah. And I have a little bit of that too, not to be white because I was white, but it looked happy to be, on TV. I think for me, you asked why did I want to become it and what does it mean to me now? I think my dad had a theater. I was just talking to my therapist about this last night. It was a chance for me, I don't know, to be the center of attention, and everybody had to listen to me because I had a father that took up so much space, have a father that takes up so much space. So it was a chance for everybody has to shut up and look at me. And I think about that when I'm on set sometimes and the camera's rolling on me. Everybody has to be quiet and listen to me for 45 seconds. Yeah. So I wonder if that's part of it. It was part of feeling less than because I wasn't cool in high school. And, it's escapism, you watch TV and you're like, oh, yeah, if I could be cool. Mm-hmm. And I knew about acting because my dad ran a community theater. I was like, oh, so if I could be cool, then everything would be okay. And also, he didn't cast me in plays in his community theater. I was only in one play, so there's some big wound there that I still feel. Mm-hmm. So I think those are the reasons subconsciously why I wanted to be an actor. And then now, why am I doing it? Why am I punishing myself? Why am I punishing myself? Why am I doing all these auditions? I barely get any of them. I was thinking about this too. Like I auditioned quite a bit, less than some, but more than a lot of others. Mm-hmm. And I get, a fraction of the ones I auditioned for. And most of the things I get are Hallmark movies and they just give them to me. Mm-hmm. So why don't I just fucking get a job and forget about auditioning and just wait and maybe they'll give me a movie once or twice a year. And just forget about acting, and it's not acting. And maybe I should do that. But it's also, I don't know, wrapped up in identity and also, I think less now, but it's about competition and feeling better than other people. Like when you book a job and you're like, I booked a job and that guy who usually books jobs didn't. I'm above of him.
Yeah, I'm better than this guy.
And it's a real hard pill to swallow when you're, middle age and you're like, oh, you're still operating on this system, and you're pretending to be altruistic or an artist or some horseshit.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah,
but exactly. It's just your fucking little baby, trying to get love. It's a hard pill to swallow, and I'm definitely going through a midlife crisis and dealing with it.
I don't even, I think you're a baby midlife if you're a midlife. You're not really midlife.
Baby midlife? Yeah. I'm baby midlife. I like that. Baby midlife.
Yeah, I mean...
I'm 42. I just turned 42.
42 is like, dude, baby honestly, 42 is a New York 36, right? All right. So, okay. I'll just put that out there.
So what's new midlife? 50, 55?
Yeah, dude. I mean, you see some of these social media 55-year-olds. Yeah. Some of those ladies that come up, they're like, I'm 55. Yeah. What the fuck?
I know. I saw this hot lady in the store in Trader Joe's yesterday. I don't know how old she was, but she looked like like one of those MILFs. Yeah. And I almost said something to her. And I feel like she knows that people, if you go up to a woman like this, she knows you watch MILF porn. Yeah. Like she must have been 50, but she was
primo.
She had the fake tits. Oh. But nice makeup and stuff, and But maybe she was my age, and I'm still like.
This is how I know I'm getting older. Is that not even that old, but like is that like I'm walking. I'm taking I'm riding my bike here, and then on the way here I see a young woman and her boyfriend, and she's got these giant breasts. Yeah. And I'm like, dude, her back must hurt.
Are they real or are they fake?
Those had to have been fake, man.
Oh, because she's skinny.
That being said, no, she. Maybe they were real. I don't know. Maybe they were on their way to getting a, breast reduction consultation.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. You're right though. You don't think of the
back's got to be in
repercussions
fucking pain though, man.
For sure. Yeah.
There's a tennis player, Simona Halep. She had giant breasts, and people would always be talking about that. And then she got a reduction. This was probably like 2016, 17, and people were like, why would you do that, you fucking idiot? Like, no.
What, like McEnroe said that?
No, like, just dudes. I'm probably projecting like my own head. Like, I was like, why would you do that? But then she started winning Grand Slams after that.
Wow.
She was like, clearly.
Oh, yeah.
Clearly her life.
Did you see Challengers?
I did.
The whole time I was watching that, I was like, there's no way this woman could be a professional tennis player because she's got no, like, biceps. Like, you think someone with that physique could,
hell no,
right?
dude.
She doesn't have the strength.
Well, we talked about it last time, like the rat face guys. The guys look like they could probably pick it up. But, you watch it, and I think... what's his name? Brad Gilbert was part of the choreography.
Who's Brad Gilbert?
And so Brad Gilbert is a very famous tennis coach. He coached Andy Roddick.
Okay.
He also was a player. He was a top 5 player back in like the early 90s. Yeah. But so he coached, he was part of the choreography team and when you watch that movie, the way the actors play tennis is really good. It's like spot on, like very accurate. Like the way Zendaya like hits the ball, like that's like all her forehand and her backhand, like they look fucking solid.
Oh,
like
good.
we've come a long way in Hollywood from like how tennis would look in like Wimbledon, that movie with Paul Bettany.
Right.
And like how it used to look. Now it looks like amazing. I was like, I was very impressed by that, but yeah.
Huh. But yeah, she wouldn't have the physique for it.
No, it did. The female talent, like some, I guess. Yeah.
Well, what about like, remember Kornikova? She wasn't.
That's true.
Huge, but that's a different.
That's like
era,
a sleeper
right?
build, I guess. It could be a sleeper build.
But was that also a different era where you didn't need the power that you do now?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think in women.
Who was the other one? Oh, Sharapova. There's some hot. Kornikova, Sharapova.
They used to be hotter. What happened?
Yeah, there's no new hot. Isn't
Peng Shui? Not Peng Shui. Oh yeah, there are Emma Raducanu. She's a British.
Okay.
You look her up, you'll know what I'm talking about. She's probably like 20 or something like that. She's gorgeous. Yeah. Coco Gauff is looking pretty good in that ad.
Yeah.
The Smart Water ad or whatever. What was it? Like some ad.
No, but I know her. She's pretty cute.
Yeah.
Didn't she retire? Yeah.
All
right. Well,
we got 15 minutes. Should we wrap it up?
Yeah, I think so.
Wait. What's one really cool thing that is coming up for you that you're really excited about?
Death. Well, I think I'm going to go back to Canada, even though I just got back. I think I'm going to go back for a week at the end of September. But yeah, I got nothing, no work that I'm looking forward to. I don't know. Yeah, I got to take one of your dreaded classes. That's the good thing about taking a class. You have something to look forward to.
Yeah. That's cool.
But yeah, I don't know. I guess going back to Canada. I have something in November I'm looking forward to, but yeah.
What is that?
A golf trip. With the boys. What about you? Do you have anything looking forward to?
Yeah, October, I'm going to be heading home. We have like a family reunion coming up, and then I'm going to Austin, Texas for the F1.
Oh, wow.
So we got tickets for the F1 grounds pass. So you get to just go in, but I'm excited, like going to F1. Like I'm probably going to watch the rest of like Drive to Survive, like over the next like 3 weeks, just to like get my brain into the F1 mentality. But I'm pretty pumped about that.
In October?
Yeah, it's like it's like the 3rd week of October. Nice. So I'm gonna be like going to Austin with my buddy, and then we might go to the Georgia Austin Texas game. Georgia versus Texas.
Yeah.
But
that'd be fun.
Yeah, dude, I'm pretty pumped about that. So I'm looking forward to that stuff. Yeah.
Nice.
Pipeline. Cool.
All right. Well,
bye.
That was another episode of...
What do we call it? Rarlo Sharks? And we'll change that. I don't know what to call this thing.